anytime you're taking on a monopoly, there are certain struggles that are involved. For one, if you don't want to sell with a monopoly or make your content available on that monopoly, you want to go with smaller creators instead to kind of build out some competition for that monopoly, you can expect that as a creator, your business is going to take a hit. Your audience is already at the monopoly. That's why they call themselves the monopoly. So please, Jeremy from the Quartering, please stop telling me to go over to Rumble. I'm not a political creator, I'm not a streamer, and I'm not a video game person, as many of my commenters bemoaned. So what is there for me over at Rumble? Please stop yelling at me every single video. My audience isn't there. Very much like the YouTube versus Rumble debacle is this not exactly new, but louder protest against Amazon and this kind of scolding towards independent authors in particular. Hey, Amazon is ripping off indie creators. You shouldn't sell your books on Amazon. And also, you shouldn't buy books on Amazon. You should go over to Kobo. You should go over to Barnes & Noble. What, like they're more virtuous or better? Oh my God, y'all are stupid. That'll be fair, people's irritation with Amazon, particularly where indie authors are concerned. All of those concerns are valid. I'm not telling you you're wrong. But you are wrong if you are telling a person who is making, we'll just be kind and say $30,000 a year off of their books, and you're telling them to move to a platform where either they will make no money because their audience isn't there at all, or if they do make money, it won't be enough to live on or to support their lifestyle, which is what their current income does. Monopolies are monopolies for a reason. However, you didn't think this was going to be a doom and gloom video, did you? The good news is, when it comes to dealing with a monopoly and slowly building up the competition for that monopoly, you don't have to do one or the other. Unless, of course, Amazon decides to kick you off. You can always put your books at multiple places. But which places should you put your books? And if you're a reader, which places should you buy your books from? Or, in the case of what we're talking about today, which subscription service might be better for you as a consumer? Today, we're going to be talking about Everand, which is a much smaller competitor, and for good reason. It has a totally different model. Unlike a competitor like Kobo, which you've heard me sing the praises of, even though, to be fair, their books are often more expensive, Everand is a subscription service. And also, unlike Kobo, that subscription service includes both ebooks and audiobooks. So if you are not a physical entertainment person, if all of your entertainment is digital and you don't really want to keep it, that's not the way that you roll. And I know that we've talked a lot about physical media on this channel. A lot of people do prefer to actually own it, but many consumers don't want to own something unless they're already sure that they like it, meaning they read it or listen to it on a subscription service and then make the financial investment to buy it. And a service like Everand might be exactly what you're looking for. So today we're going to be talking about, if you're an indie author, why or if you should make your books available on Everand, and if you're a reader, why you might give it a try. Let's dive in. Hello, Shameless Writers. I'm Kristen McTiernan, the nonsense-free editor, here for your weekly dose of writing and publishing wisdom. And today we're going to be kind of taking a little deviation from that, in that we're going to be centering the reader versus the indie creator, though both will be discussed. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking about Everand and whether or if this might be a good choice for you as a reader or an indie author. Now, we all know that Amazon is not just a bookseller. It hasn't been that in a long time. It's basically the everything store. So comparing Amazon as a whole with Everand as a whole wouldn't really work. So we're not going to do that in this video. For simplicity's sake, I am going to be comparing Kindle Unlimited specifically with the Everand subscription service. Now, the good news is that the base element of Everand subscription costs exactly the same as Kindle Unlimited, which is $11.99 a month. Unlike Kindle Unlimited, Everand has actually two tiers of their subscription. And the difference between those two subscription tiers are the number of unlocks you get. Now, what is an unlock? So if you are familiar with Kindle Unlimited, and you probably are, you know that you can read unlimited books as long as those books are enrolled in Kindle Unlimited. Now, of course, if you are a person who loves traditionally published best-selling books, you know that a lot of your favorites, a lot of those book talk books that are just lighting up the internet and all the girlies are talking about, you know that those are not in Kindle Unlimited. Some of them are, but most of them are not, because the publishers are like, no, why are we going to get paid for page reads? No, you buy that book. And by the way, the ebook is going to cost like $25 because that's how TradPub rolls. With Everand, however, yes, it costs $11.99 a month, and you do get unlimited reading for all of the books categorized as unlimited. And just like in Kindle Unlimited, these are mostly independently published books. However, in addition to that unlimited, you also get unlocks. You get one unlock with the standard plan. That means whatever bestseller that you have your eye on, that ebook that you've been aching to read that is not enrolled in Kindle Unlimited and is not enrolled in Everand Unlimited, doesn't matter. You still have that one unlock, and it comes as part of your subscription. The higher tier, which is the plus level, you get 3 unlocks, and that's $16.99 a month. Oh, and by the way, something that is different than Kindle Unlimited, this subscription on Everand, either for $11.99 or $16.99, this is for ebooks and audiobooks. Whereas with Amazon, you have to purchase a Kindle Unlimited subscription and you have to purchase an Audible subscription. With Everand, it's all encompassing. And your unlocks, whether it's 1 or 3 per month, includes audiobooks and ebooks, which makes it more bang for your buck. If you are a subscription reader or listener, you get more for this amount of money than you do over on Amazon. Now, since I have a lot of physical media fans on this channel, you might be wondering, why would I go with a subscription service in the first place? I don't think I like that. I would rather buy and own my books, and if I don't like them, I can sell them. And if that's the way that you are, that's totally fine. I am not here to convince you. However, and it might surprise you, some people do not want to buy and possess things until they know that they like them. I am one of those people. I actually prefer a subscription for things like this. And I mentioned it in one of my previous videos, and this is just a personal quirk of mine. I hate stuff. I feel smothered by possessions. I don't want extra. It drives my husband nuts. Okay, so I don't like hoarding. So I don't like stuff, and I want to get rid of stuff, and I want to keep things clean and tidy. And if I go looking for something, I want to know exactly where it is because, I don't live in a hoarder house. And by the way, my car is actually in my garage instead of stuff. If you're not American, I need you to understand that our massive houses and our massive garages are not enough to contain all of the crap that Americans hold. Most people's garages are full of shit, and that's why their cars are parked on the street, even though they have 3 garages. I need you to understand that if you're European. It is horrible. But that is my personal, I don't know. I mean, if you can call it a neurosis, you can, but that is a personal thing that I struggle with. And a lot of other people do too. So if you are someone who doesn't want to purchase something that you're going to hold on to, that's going to take up space in your residence until you know that you like it, the subscription world was made for you. Now, if you're an author, you might be wondering, okay, if I put my book up on Everand, because it's a subscription model, how exactly will I get paid? This is a very good question. Now, Everand is different than Amazon and other retailers as well, in that you cannot create an account directly on Everand and upload your books there. Okay, so the Everand website is consumer facing. It's not for authors to go through and upload their books. What they do is they use existing platforms, including Draft2Digital, which is why my books are available on Everand, but also Smashwords, BookBaby, and Findaway Voices, which I think is also owned by Draft2Digital. Anyway, so if you're on one of those platforms, that's where you're going to be doing the uploading. And what they do is they look at the pages read of the book. And so if you read a certain percentage, and I think it's over 50%, then you are paid exactly as if you got a sale for the book. So for instance, for my book, Black Magic's Prey, the cost of that ebook is $2.99. So for each copy of that book that is read, I think 50% or more, then I will be paid a royalty of $1.78 from Everand. Now do keep in mind that that is Everand taking a cut as well as Draft2Digital taking a cut. So that's my take home pay for that. You can contrast that where if I had gone through Draft2Digital to publish my book on Amazon, I would have gotten $178 as well. However, My ebook, because I uploaded it directly with Kindle Direct Publishing, when I sell one through Amazon, then I get $2.06. It's priced $2.99 everywhere. However, I get a slightly higher royalty when I sell directly through Amazon versus when I sell through any place that I sell through Draft to Digital, because they have that, extra finger in the pot, if you will. Giggity. As an independent author, it is your decision whether you want to go wide. And if you do, I recommend using Draft to Digital or another aggregator because it just makes things simpler. But you have to make that call. Are you going to sell enough books at these other retailers, including Everand, versus if you just decide to sell exclusively through Amazon and you enroll your book in Kindle Unlimited? Amazon is the big dog on campus. There's nothing to be done about that. I hate to tell all of you little boycotting stands, I guess we can call you, but I don't want to be mean about it. I don't, okay? I get that your hearts were in the right place. You were not being jerks. No one is being a jerk about this. It just, I don't know, maybe the idealism irritates me, but it's more than that because you feel like you're being a good person by not shopping at Amazon. Okay, that's fine. But those authors who are Amazon exclusive, and I saw them all over Twitter, y'all, it was a hit. Their earnings took a hit. And in some cases, this is their livelihood. So, and I didn't say this to any of these authors because they made the best business decision for them, which was to be Amazon exclusive. However, I would never ever say take your books off Amazon because that's stupid. They're the biggest seller. Sell your books on Amazon. My advice to you, if you don't make the majority of your sales from Kindle Unlimited page reads, would be to go wide. Just start with one book. See how it goes for you. Because different strokes for different folks. There is a huge subset of readers who are audiobook only. And by not having your book available in audio, you're losing those buyers. There's a huge subset of readers who will not buy your paperback unless you're like a no name, unless you're a David Baldacci. They're not forking out $25 for a book where they don't know if it's good and they don't know if they can trust the reviews. We all know what Amazon reviews are like. Screw that. They want that $2 to $5.99 ebook first before they will invest in you as an author. And so by only having your ebooks available in one place, maybe a place that rubs these buyers wrong, you are losing out on sales. And the great thing about going wide is that you get to test and see where you make these sales. For me, I don't get a lot of money from Everand. I think a month I get $5, $6. It's not a lot. The majority of my sales come from Amazon, followed closely by Kobo. I've been seeing an uptick in Kobo for the past 6 months. I don't know if it's because I've just been doing a little bit of dick riding over here. Or if it's because people love their e-reader like I do, or if they hate Amazon and they're looking for an alternative. And honestly, Kobo is the next best thing. I don't know, but I'm very happy to see those royalties increasing through specifically Kobo. If you have read any of my books, may I humbly ask that you leave a review. I have not had a new review in months, and I see that you guys are buying my books, and I know that you like them. Please leave me a review, please, please. So as a summary, if you are inclined to be a subscription reader, I have included a link down below where you can have a free trial at Everand to see if it suits you. And as an aside, I did want to let all of you know, based on that video where I was answering those hateful comments about what constituted men's fiction, I mentioned Demon Copperhead, where that was one of the examples thrown out that I had missed, and fine, fair enough, it seemed to be right on the nose. That is my next TBR. I will finally be finishing Hellbent by Lee Bardugo. Words are hard. I will finally be finishing that this week. And my next book, even though I'm jumping it up the TBR, will be Demon Copperhead. So I'm a slow reader. It's going to be several weeks, maybe more than a month. Probably more than a month. But I will tell you how I liked it and if I think my primarily male audience will like it too. You guys, I looked at the stats. This is not a joke. My stats on YouTube, 92% male. Holy shit, it's a sausage fest in here. And Twitter's not much better. It's 86%. Why don't the girlies like me? Is it the boobs? So hateful, y'all. I'm a girl's girl. So that's all I have for you this week. I would love to hear what your favorite service is. We can assume that most everybody shops at Amazon, but if you have a different retailer or subscription service that you like, I would love to hear about it down below, especially if you're not American, because I have no idea what you do in other countries. I really don't. So let me know down below. And until next week, take care and write well.
They warned her about the house next door. They warned her about the men who lived there. But she didn't listen. Experience the horror. Prepare yourself for Black Magic's Prey. Featuring ancient Mexican witchcraft, demonic possession, forbidden rituals, virgin sacrifice, and supernatural revenge. Starring the mysterious Luis, the innocent Tess, and the deranged Enrique. Warning, this book contains scenes of witchcraft, violence, bisexual women, demonic imagery, and disturbing rituals not recommended for the weak of heart. Black Magic's Prey. When evil marks you as its own, there is no escape. Available now at Amazon, Kobo, and Barnes & Noble. Rated R. No one under 17 admitted.